My name is Claire Morgan, and the worst betrayal of my life did not happen in a courtroom or over an inheritance. It happened while my 8-year-old daughter was fighting for her life on an operating table. That day, I learned something I will never forget. Sometimes the people who share your blood are the first ones to abandon you. But what happened 3 months later made the same people who ignored my daughter watch their perfect image fall apart on live television. For most of my life, I believed family meant standing by each other no matter what. I was raised to solve my own problems, never complain, and never ask for help. I worked as an accountant in Ohio, living a quiet life with my daughter Emma, who had been born with a heart defect. She proudly called the scar on her chest her zipper and never let it stop her from smiling. So when her cardiologist told me she would need another open heart surgery, I did what I always did. I stayed calm, made lists, called the insurance company, planned every expense, and hoped my family would finally stand beside us. Instead, my mother asked who else already knew about the surgery. My brother saw an opportunity. Without asking me, he created an online fundraiser using Emma photographs and medical story. The campaign spread across town almost overnight. Local businesses shared it, churches promoted it, and even the news featured my brother talking about family, love, and sacrifice. Donations poured in until the total passed $100,000. Everyone praised my family for coming together, but behind the scenes, every dollar went into an account controlled only by my brother. The moment I asked for the money to be sent directly to the hospital, everything changed. My brother avoided written conversations, insisted I trust the family, and eventually handed me only $2,000 during a staged photo session. A few weeks later, he transferred another $3,000 and claimed that was the final payment. Meanwhile, the fundraiser continued collecting thousands more from generous strangers. My instincts told me something was terribly wrong, but with my daughter's surgery only weeks away, I had no time to fight. Instead, I quietly saved every receipt, every screenshot, and every message inside a binder, hoping I would never need it. The morning of Emma's surgery was the longest day of my life. I spent 9 endless hours alone in the hospital waiting room counting floor tiles just to keep myself from falling apart. Then I opened social media and discovered my family was hosting an elegant charity gala in my daughter's honor while she was still lying unconscious on the operating table. They posed for pictures beneath banners with her face, accepted applause, and gave emotional speeches about hope. Not one of them had driven the 90 minutes to sit beside the little girl they claimed to love. When the surgeon finally told me the operation had been successful, I felt like I could breathe again. Hours later, Emma opened her eyes and whispered one heartbreaking question. "Did Grandma come?" I forced a smile and told her Grandma knew she was safe. Then I took one photograph of my brave little girl and sent it to our family group chat with a simple message. "She wants to see you." My brother replied first, "Busy, handle it." Seconds later, my mother answered, "She lived. Stop making her our problem." 14 relatives read those words, yet not one defended us. I typed, "It is okay," placed my phone on the blanket beside my daughter, and cried alone in the hospital stairwell. When we returned home, the hospital bills kept arriving while the fundraiser total climbed even higher. I demanded financial records and discovered my brother and mother had secretly created a charitable foundation using Emma name, photographs, and medical story without my permission. Her picture appeared on billboards, advertisements, and promotional material all over town. One afternoon, Emma pointed at one of those signs and quietly asked, "Why did nobody ask me first?" That innocent question shattered something inside me because she understood respect better than the adults who claimed to love her. I started investigating everything. During one hospital follow-up appointment, an employee casually mentioned they had never received the $25,000 donation my brother publicly promised during the charity gala. I watched the speech online and realized hundreds of people had applauded a donation that never existed. The deeper I looked, the worse it became. Foundation money had paid for luxury vacations, expensive home renovations, and my brother's brand new truck. They had turned my daughter's illness into their personal business. When I confronted them, they pushed a contract across the table asking me to permanently sign away the rights to Emma name, image, and medical story. Years of being taught to stay quiet almost made me pick up the pen. Then I remembered Emma's small voice asking why nobody had asked her. I set the pen down, walked away, and filed a detailed fraud report with the fundraising platform. Within 2 days, the account was frozen. My family immediately declared war. Relatives accused me of betrayal. My mother told everyone I was emotionally unstable after the surgery. Someone even reported me to Child Protective Services, forcing investigators into my home. Thankfully, they found exactly what I already knew. My daughter was safe, loved, and well cared for. Still, hearing Emma whisper, "Are they going to take me away?" was one of the most painful moments of my life. Everything changed when my sister-in-law secretly met me at a roadside diner. She handed me bank statements proving foundation money had been spent on personal expenses instead of helping sick children. Armed with real evidence, I contacted the same television reporter who had once praised my family generosity. After verifying every document, she agreed to expose the truth, warning me that speaking publicly might cost me every remaining donation. By then, I no longer cared about the money. I cared about justice. The investigation aired one Tuesday night. Millions of viewers watched as the reporter revealed the missing donations, the fake hospital pledge, the personal spending, and finally the 2 text messages my family sent while my daughter fought for her life. Then the camera turned to me. I calmly read every message before admitting something I had spent my entire life hiding. It was never okay. The consequences were immediate. My brother's reputation collapsed. His business disappeared almost overnight. The foundation was dissolved, investigators stepped in, donors received refunds, and both my mother and brother were permanently banned from operating charitable fundraisers. Many of those same donors later contributed directly to the hospital, ensuring every one of Emma's medical expenses was covered exactly as they had intended from the beginning. Today, our Sundays look very different. Around my dinner table sit the nurse who comforted me in the hospital, the social worker who guided us through recovery, my former sister-in-law, and friends who chose to stand beside us when it mattered most. None of them share my last name, yet every one of them showed up when my daughter needed them. Not long ago, Emma accidentally spilled her glass of milk and smiled before saying, "It is okay." I knelt beside her, held her little hands, and gently shook my head. "No, sweetheart. Some things are not okay, and we are allowed to say so. Family is not the people who protect a last name. Family is the people who stay when the machines are beeping. Losing the family I was born into was painful, but it gave my daughter something far more important than money. It gave her the courage to never confuse silence with love again."